Coming up shortly, the transporter erector, also known as the strong back or TE, will track away from Falcon.
Космос
is the
Плюс.
large truss structure you see there.
Сегодня смотрим запуск ракеты Falcon
Next to the rocket, you
9
just
с
heard that call
грузовым
out that the
кораблем
tanks are pressing in
Cargo
preparation.
Dragon. Cargo Dragon —
Our
это
strong back
грузовая
retract,
версия
and Dragon is in configure
Драгона
for
2,
terminal count.
в котором есть грузы и научное
There is
оборудование.
that call out for Dragon
Сейчас
transitioning to
расскажу про
internal power.
первую ступень.
And ahead of the transporter erector reclining, you'll see the clamp arms just below Dragon begin to open. Now, the transporter erector is designed to transport, raise, and support Falcon 9 at the launch pad and uses its umbilicals or flexible lines to route the vehicle's fluids, power, and telemetry from ground systems to the
Первая
rocket
ступень
and
Falcon
payload
9
until
B-10
Falcon 9
83
switches
села на
internal
площадку
power.
LZ-1
There you can see the clamp arms beginning to open
после своего
right under
пятого
Dragon
полета.
at the top of the second stage.
Да, до этого она была четвертый полет, после этого стал пятый полет. Сейчас расскажу еще. Спец осуществила 400-й полностью успешный запуск в своей истории. И еще. Да, мы смотрим, как сказать, запись запуска Cargo Dragon, потому что запуск был в каком-то UTC, но по московскому это было, как сказать, в 5 утра. И хочу сказать, корабль Cargo Dragon миссии SRX-31 отделен от второй ступени Falcon 9 и начал свой путь на МКС. Стыковка со станции планируется 18-15 несколько запусков успешно. Я могу построить стыковку? Наверное.
Range is also green and ready to support. If for some reason we are not able to launch tonight, we do have a backup opportunity tomorrow, Tuesday, November 5th at 8:06 a.m. Central Time at 9:06 a.m. Eastern. At this point in the countdown, the first and second stages are nearly fully loaded with 1 million pounds of kerosene fuel and liquid oxygen. At T-minus 60 seconds, Falcon 9 will be in startup. This means that the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers have taken over the launch countdown. And just inside T-minus 2 seconds, we'll light the Merlin 1D engines for liftoff.
У нас остается 2 минуты до пуска.
The vehicle continues to be healthy, and the Falcon 9 team is tracking no issues. Currently, the weather is green, and the range is ready to support a T0 at 9:29 p.m. Eastern Time. Weather is looking good, and in these last few minutes, Falcon 9 is performing final health checks on the primary communications,
Миссия
avionics,
Crew 9 была 30 секунд в другой узел, чтобы освободить один порт для стыковки грузового корабля Dragon.
With that, we're here to check out to the second stage. Thrust vector
Одна
control
минута до
actuators
пуска, она
underway.
идет старта.
Referred to as the
Это
engine give
когда
or wiggle test.
ракета
This is when
переходит
space vector moves the
на
nozzles ever so slightly to make sure that the guidance
стартап, это
hardware
когда
is
ракета
acceptable for
переходит
flight.
на свой контроль и
And
говорит,
as
лететь
Dragon
или
now
не
moves
лететь.
into auto idle, continues those
Так,
checkouts for the
когда
first stage
был
engines, and that
стартап на
happens
2
just seconds
минуты,
before ignition.
в Старлинке,
At the
я
time
не
of
помню
launch, the
какой там
International
номер,
Space
там
Station
был
will fly close to
аборт,
260
и
statute modules
завтра
crossing the
полетит в
Atlantic Ocean.
Старлинке.
Falcon 9 is in startup. Dragon is in countdown.
И у нас остается 40 секунд до пуска. Это же не круто.
There is that final launch record go. All systems are go for launch of Falcon 9 and the SRX-31 mission.
T-minus 3 seconds.
Так, 26 секунд до пуска остается. Хайп.
Seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8,
О, все,
7,
запуск.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engine full power. And liftoff. Go SpaceX. Go Falcon. Go CRS.
И есть пуск ракеты Falcon 9 с грузовым кораблем Falcon Dragon на МКС. Следующий у нас этап это MSQ. Максимум доменных пресс, максимальные динамические сопротивления. Ракета переживет, потому что она много раз так делала и
During ascent, we will tilt or gimbal the engines, guiding the rocket into what we call a gravity turn. Now, during this turn, the vehicle is flying both up and horizontally away from the launch pad. The rocket
Power and telemetry nominal.
typically needs to go 17,500 miles per hour horizontally in order
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
to avoid getting pulled back down to Earth. You just heard that call out that Falcon 9 is supersonic, and shortly we'll be throttling the engines back in preparation for Max Q.
Max Q.
There's that call for Max Q. That's the maximum aerodynamic pressure that the vehicle will see during ascent. And coming up shortly, we will have a few events in quick succession, starting with main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation.
И есть подтверждение, что ракета прошла максимальное динамическое сопротивление. Следующий момент это у нас микро. Main engine cutoff и разделение ступеней. Ждем, короче.
We are just about 30 seconds away from main engine cutoff, where the 9 Merlin 1B engines on the first stage will shut down. Shortly after that, the stage 1 and 2 will separate from one another, and the MVAC engine on the second stage will start. Second engine start 1 is when we ignite that single Merlin vacuum engine of the second stage. Shortly after that, the boost back burn will start on the first stage. There's main engine cutoff.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed.
Stage separation. And there you can see a beautiful view of the concurrent second stage engine start along with the start of that first stage boost back burn. Really cool views from the second stage engine there and the first stage. Now, if you're just joining us, the first stage on your left is in the middle of its boost back burn, which is the first of 3 burns designed to take the first stage back down to Earth, to our landing zone 1. And the second stage is in its burn, carrying Dragon and the CRS-31 mission towards its intended orbit.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
There is the end of that boost back burn. And that was the first of 3 planned burns of the first stage. And in about 3 minutes, there will be 2 additional burns, the entry burn and the landing burn of that first stage, to bring it back down to land at landing zone 1 at Cape Canaveral. We are at T plus 3 minutes and 55 seconds here in today's mission. CRS-31 is SpaceX's 105th launch this year, and we are coming up on the entry burn and then second engine cutoff of the second stage. Now the entry burn is slated for a little over 2 minutes from now at the T plus 6.5 minute mark, and you should see that on your screen when the first stage performs it. And for that entry burn, we relight 3 of the 9 M1D.
They're on a nominal trajectory.
You heard that call out. Vehicles are all on a nominal trajectory. And again, for that entry burn, we will relight 3 of the 9 M1D engines starting with the center E9 engines, followed shortly after by the E1 and E5 engines, which are on either side of it. This burn will slow the vehicle down as it passes back into the Earth's atmosphere. The reason we need to perform this entry burn is we need to slow down and reduce re-entry forces, which helps us recover and reuse the first stage. You can follow along on the bottom left and right hand of your screen for the speed and altitude for the first and second stages respectively. And the second stage, which you can see on your screen right now, is on its first burn. And this is what will be targeting the Dragon orbit, from whence, after Dragon's operation, Dragon will continue the rest of its journey to the International Space Station using its own onboard tracking systems. We are just about 30 seconds from the start of the first stage entry burn. This will be about a 20-second burn that slows that first stage down as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere.
Nominal trajectory. We are also currently in the middle of the second stage burn. We have about 2 minutes left in this burn.
TS is saved.
And there is that call out for a good entry burn and the flight termination system being saved. Really cool views of the nighttime on the Cape Canaveral coast. The first stage that supporting today's mission will perform has performed this entry burn for the 5th time. And Falcon 9 is the world's first orbital class reusable rocket, and this is important because it allows us to reuse the most expensive parts of the rocket, which drives down the access to space. We should see that landing burn starting in just a few moments.
Stage 1 landing burn.
There is the start of the stage 1 landing burn.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Есть открытие посадочных ног. И есть посадки перед.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Перед B-1083.
What a beautiful view of that first stage landing, and with that landing marks SpaceX's 360-second recovery of an orbital class rocket, including the first stage landings for Falcon 9 and Heavy. We are coming up on second engine cutoff, or second engine cutoff 1 here on the second stage in just a few moments.
Stage 2 shutdown.
There is that call out for Seco 1. You can see that back engine slowly cooling off.
Nominal orbit insertion.
There is that confirmation of a good orbit. Looks like we are on track for Dragon separation in just a few minutes here at the T plus 9 minute and 25.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Second mark. See that back engine continuing to cool down. And we are waiting for Dragon separation here in just a few moments.
Dragon separation confirmed.
И есть отделение грузового
There is
Драгона.
confirmation of Dragon's operation. You could just see it floating away there.
Он отправляется на МКС.
Now, if you're just joining us, we did have a successful launch from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center.
Да. Ждите, коллаба будет, если я знаю, что коллаба будет.
And
Так,
everything
что еще
has
можно мне
proceeded phenomenally so far. We had stage separation occurred at about 2.5 minutes into flight, and that was followed by a successful landing of Falcon 9's first stage on landing zone 1. And that marks the 5th landing for this particular booster. And for those of you following along, this Dragon spacecraft previously supported 4 commercial resupply missions for NASA, including CRS-21, 23, 25, and 28. At about a few minutes ago, we had a successful second engine cutoff, or STICO 1, and this was followed by a confirmation of a good orbital insertion.
Спасибо, что был.
We recently saw Dragon separation floating away from the second stage as it begins its journey to the International Space Station. We should see the start of nose cone deploy here for Dragon shortly as well.
Всем удачи, всем пока-пока, встретимся.